Thanks, Paula, for that introduction, and thanks for the opportunity to be here today. So I'll just start sharing my presentation. As I do that, I'll just point out, so this one is for anyone joining us who's been with us previously. This one is the third in a series of 3 presentations. So I'm assuming that some people have experienced one or both of the prior ones, but I also start with a bit of a background on what I guess AI is and what people I guess can, or some basic strategies in approaching AI implementation. So, and I have also kept this presentation a little bit more open-ended so that everyone can ask questions as we go along. And Paula as well, please feel free to jump in. So I'll kick off. So obviously the topic of the presentation is why every Australian legal practice needs a dynamic AI policy. So what we'll be covering off is just very briefly, what is AI? How is AI affecting lawyers and the legal industry, particularly in Australia? Why you need an AI policy, and where with every client that we work with, we really push quite strongly for an AI policy, not from the point of view of seeing a policy as being restrictive or I guess negative. It's essentially, it should be a living document that gives everyone who's using AI confidence to say, okay, here's what we've decided, here's how we're using it, here's our plan to future-proof it, because it is, and I'll go through this in the presentation, but it is definitely a very dynamic industry that's changing all the time. I'll go through what the elements of a dynamic AI policy typically are, and then a recommendation or a couple of recommendations as to how to start to put it into practice. So just briefly, what is AI? So artificial intelligence refers to the branch of computer science focused on creating systems or machines capable of performing tasks that typically require human intelligence. So AI is very much a hot topic, but it's been around since the 1900s, hit, I guess, it started into mainstream computer science around the 1950s, 1960s. But what's brought it into mainstream conversation now is very much around generative AI. Generative AI is just one of many types of AI. So you'll see there's machine learning, natural language processing, which tends to feed into generative AI, and computer vision. But there are many, many more types of AI than that. So as I say, generative AI tends to be the one that we work with most with legal practices. So it's a subset of artificial intelligence that actually creates new content by learning patterns from existing data. So it is there, it's designed to produce original outputs that resemble the input data it was trained on. A few other, or probably just enough to go over one other example of AI that we would all be very familiar with, something like, say, a recommendation algorithm, where if you've been watching Netflix, it will recommend the next thing that it thinks you like. If you purchase something on Amazon, it will make recommendations. So there are obviously massive businesses that rely on AI. They're not necessarily technically generative AI, but generative AI tends to be the field of AI that I think is representative of the most value for lawyers to leverage AI.